So, as Iranian-backed terrorists continue to hit U.S. military assets, most recently, Iranian-backed Houthi militia targeting Israeli commercial ships, as well as the USS Carney, Biden National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan made this virtually unintelligible statement in the White House press room today. Take a listen to this one.
President and I, along with Secretary Blinken and Director Burns, will stay in touch with our Israeli and Qatari counterparts, as well as our Egyptian counterparts, to press Hamas on this issue. Right now, Hamas is refusing to release civilian women who should have been part of the agreement. And it is that refusal by Hamas that has caused the end of the hostage agreement and therefore the end of the pause in hostilities.
So let me get this right, Ms. Sullivan. Presumably speaking for President Biden, you're going to stay in touch, quote unquote, quote, with our counterparties in Israel, Qatar, and Egypt to press Hamas on the issue of hostages? Sure, right. We're going to sit down at a long white cloth rectangular table, like in a well-appointed restaurant, to talk calmly with the cutthroat murderers of Hamas. Next thing you know, waiters are going to ask Hamas cutthroats if they prefer their water plain or bubbly. I don't think so. These people are not civilized. Apart from the murder of 1,400 innocent Israelis and other civilians on October 7th, murdering grannies, children, actually chopping heads off, actually putting children in ovens, we are now learning, of course, more about sexual violence and rape committed by Hamas. These people are not civilized. That is why you can't, quote, stay in touch with them. The problem for Mr. Sullivan and his boss, Joe Biden, and the entire foreign policy crew in the Biden administration is they continue to appease Iran. Iran's the paymaster and the chief strategist of Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and others. This is about appeasement. It is also a failure of deterrence. Mr. Biden keeps talking about avoiding a Middle East war escalation, but in fact, Iran is doing the escalating. Appeasement will do that when you fear your enemy more than your enemy fears you. The United States government seems to be doing virtually nothing to deter the terrorists. Pinprick responses, ridiculous diplomatic doublespeak, smoke blowing from the White House press room, that's all you get. Next time Mr. Sullivan appears in the White House press room, some enterprising reporter should ask him when his administration will enforce the economic and energy sanctions mandated by Congress, or stop the $35 billion a year oil sales to China, or interdict illegal shipping, or impounding illegal ships themselves, or, failing any of that, when will the mighty U.S. military be unleashed to destroy Iranian oil fields, or perhaps command and control centers, or training centers in Iran? That kind of force is the only language Iran will ever understand. But right now, Joe Biden's not speaking their language. And one of these days, a lot of American servicemen and women are going to get very badly hurt, or worse, because of Mr. Biden's continued malfeasance. And that's my riff on this whole subject.